Hello, good morning, Professor.
Morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. There. All right, go ahead and share my screen here. So I'll wait for everyone else. So how's it feel to be done? First, I mean, you still have to upload your final project, but no more meetings. All right, so we can get some more people to join. Good morning, Rhodas. How are you?
Hello, Professor. So I'm actually surprised because I'm traveling to a rural area,
Oh, okay.
and I'm having a bit of problem with the internet. So I might be able to participate part of the session, but I won't be able to be fully online because of the internet connection.
Okay, understood. Thank you for letting me know.
Okay.
Good morning,
morning,
Professor.
hi.
Good morning,
Hi,
everyone.
Samia. How are you
Hello.
doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So let's see if we can get Dr. Dr. Awaad is going to be able to join us today. I wasn't sure if she would be able to join. Not. They'll give her a couple of more minutes. All right. So how does it feel to everyone? You're almost done. This is the last lecture. And I know that Sam is going to be defending her thesis next weekend. And then Mansoor and Rhodas, you just have your capstone projects to upload. So. Is it good? Are you starting to, are you feeling better? It's gonna be done soon. Let's see here. Oh, we lost Rhoda. She says she's traveling. She'll be in and out. So,
So, Professor, we are going to have another semester.
pardon again?
So we're going to have another semester?
You and Rhodas will be working on your actual thesis all next semester.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another group of students who are going to have this same course.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that today. So, yeah, you won't have an actual class like this.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you'll be working with Dr. Awaad on your thesis, so you'll just be working on that thesis until that's done. Then they'll set up your defense and things like that. So a date. No, I don't. I'm thinking maybe Dr. Awaad might not be joining us today. Okay, well, so today it just, like I said, this is very casual, and I just wanted to give you a chance to just kind of tell us a little bit more about why you're pursuing an MBA, and what are your plans going forward. What do you see yourself doing in another few years? Just talk about some of your passions and things that you're interested in. It could be anything. The sky's the limit. I'm just very, very interested in where students are going beyond um, a particular degree program. So maybe some of you are going to pursue PhDs after this, maybe with Windsor or other universities. I don't know, but yeah, I would love to hear um, um, how you're going to do. So, who wants to go first? I'll let you speak up.
Sure, Professor. No, definitely, definitely a good approach to understand and discuss that for sure. And I know I have been discussing this, and I even had one time I had a chance to speak with Amar in a meeting, and I did share this. So
Mhm.
I always wanted to do masters. I did my bachelor's in business administration from Jesus and Mary College in New Delhi, and
Mhm.
I'm from India, and I came here like we came here about 16 years back in
Okay.
2006. Initially we came in 2007, and
Mhm.
then we came back in 2008, and from then we have been living here. And I always wanted to do masters, but because of my busy schedule and then work, kids, it was very difficult to think about doing masters. And then I would say it was a block of ice which I needed to break before really moving forward and thinking about doing masters. And like 2 years back, I just made a concrete decision that no, I have to do masters. I don't want to die in bachelor's, even though I know it sounds like funny, or maybe sounds strange to you, as it did sound a little strange to Amar, that I just wanted to do it for becoming a master's person, not dying as a bachelor. But it's really, I don't know how much benefit. It's definitely going to do benefit in other areas, but to in my particular profession, like in IT, I think I have been doing good, and I did collected lots of certifications, like admin certifications in Salesforce, in Dynamics 365. I did PMP, Scrum Master certification, and I have been doing certifications, as that's the norm in IT, that you keep on getting yourself skilled. So I got all those skills. Um, it is definitely going to help me, and it did help me a lot, as I when I was writing thesis. It did help me a lot to bring everything which was in my mind and in my experience, like in these 20 years, on the paper. And your guidance is really highly appreciated, that how you guided me to write the thesis, and to be very, like, sometimes we forget those little details, even though we know in our head that we need to do that. But when somebody is guiding you, it's always very good. So I really appreciate from my heart that you guided me through this and helped me really creating a, from my hand, it's the best thesis, I think. But yes, definitely, when it comes to your code and then other reviewers, like, you will see how, where it's like really fitting to the idea of the agile in the industry, and if it really defines the best practices, or I mean whatever will come from the reviewer. So I'm really looking forward to that meeting with reviewers. um, so it's so, but at the end, I just want to say that yes, I wanted to do master. I don't know about PhD, that I will move forward with PhD or not. That might would change, but right now, yes, I wanted to do masters, and it will certainly help in, if I want to become a full-time professional in a organization. They will definitely look at my degrees, that okay, she's masters, and that way it will help. And diving into the all these courses, research was also very good, which I did with you. And another, organizational leadership was very good in really moving forward to, towards the leadership roles. So all collectively, it has been a very good, I would say, learning journey. And from initially I started with UO people, from there to here. And it has been a great learning journey, and I definitely think it's going to help me a lot in many areas about leadership and becoming a full-time employee, because I have been working as a contractor. There have been a good reasoning about becoming a contractor, but eventually I want to become a full timer in a good organization where atmosphere is great, and so that I can take day offs. That would be the only benefit I will get out of that. So that is definitely my goal with completing masters. It will help me in becoming a full time employee for sure. Plus, I'm planning to do more skilled certifications after completing my masters, so that I'm back to track of collecting certifications. Because sometimes it's like in resume, if I have those certifications mentioned, it helps me get that particular job. Because
Mhm.
when it comes to my role as a lead business analyst or the IT lead, they always look at that how much skilled I am on a particular tool they are using in the organization. So
Mhm.
after completing, that's my goal to move forward again towards getting more certifications. But this is definitely going was a very great learning. And starting from the composition, because in UO people it was mandatory that I complete the English composition course before really doing anything, before even starting any MBA courses like the pre MBA ones. So they it was a mandatory course, English composition. That was also great, because coming from India, we do uh, I I don't know, maybe you already know that we do British English there. It's
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
American English. So even though I was a good writer, I would say I was a good writer because many people used to appreciate my writing, but I was lacking those sometimes like those little things, like how we say a word, we put s and comma after that or before comma, and all those little things were um thinking like really pinging me back, because some people did notice that I write like that. And I used to explain, because I'm from India, and we follow British pattern, British writing pattern. And when I did that English composition, oh, that was like totally a turnaround. That no, this is not the way we write here in America. This is the way we write, and it really, no matter how much we say we know English, but wha- when we actually learn the way we write in America is like totally different. So
Mhm.
that was very helpful. And then as I met so many great professors like you, and there was others, I want to really give credit to them also. Even in the UO people, even that being a offline university, they
Mhm.
still were very attentive towards the assignments we are doing. And they were, even they had some tool, actually they were scanning our assignments and pulling mistakes, and then we were going back and then sometimes resubmitting those. So it's really been a great learning experience, and I look forward
Mhm.
to really take that knowledge with me and help the organizations I work with. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Yes, I didn't know that it was that dramatic, but I did realize that British English and American English are different. I didn't
Yes.
think about the actual composition part of it because I've always taught
Mhm.
American English
Yeah,
composition. So very good, very good. Yeah, 'cause I've been able to teach that
for
the
sure, for sure.
undergraduate level.
Thank you.
So that's great. Well, I think you're going to do great in wherever you do. That's for sure. And I really appreciate you sharing your journey. It's been a pleasure to work with you. You're all very exceptional students. This is one of the nice things about working with students in the graduate program because it's just night and day. It really is. I've worked at institutions where I would say more than 90% of the students were first generation college students, and some were even just being released from incarceration. They had no structure So it was really mentoring in almost like a guardian for a lot of these students. And so I derive a lot of pleasure in that as well, because you can see the growth. But I also like to work with graduate students like yourselves, because I learned so much. You know, you're in many ways you're my intellectual equals, you know, because you're you know I have a great deal of respect for a graduate level student. So thank you for being an outstanding student, and so look forward to your defense next week.
For sure,
Um,
for sure,
yeah.
Professor. Now that's like really like I would say like there is a word in Sanskrit. I will not bring it here because that will confuse you more. But there, I really, when I'm going through this thesis, is really, most of it, coming out of my experiences also. So it's really now in totally in my mind and in my heart. So I hope I should be able to defend it in the best way possible. And thank you for sharing that review sheet that will definitely guide me through that exactly what they're looking for in my thesis. So I will definitely do my best in the defense.
Yes, absolutely. I have no doubt. So, Mansoor, and why don't you share with us? So, what brought you to Windsor University? Why did you decide to pursue an MBA? Maybe this is your second master's degree. I know that some people will do that. They'll have a master's and a PhD, but they go back and do the MBA because they want to focus specifically on what that could do for them within the business sector. What is your story? Would you mind sharing with us?
Yes, of course, Professor. Thank you. I would like to thank you for this session and to let us speak about our goals. And well, of course, there was an inspiration behind this to study this program. I'm I'm so happy that Windsor University provided this opportunity for us, especially for me, because where I live, we have very limited opportunities to study higher education, especially after you might know, after the collapse of the previous government.
Mm,
We have almost no opportunity here in Afghanistan.
mm,
So that's why I'm very grateful for Windsor University and for this opportunity. Yes, it's been always my dream to pursue an MBA or a master degree. And yes, I found Windsor University, and I'm so happy that I did this program. As Samia said, yes, I also wanted to study this program because I wanted to develop in my career, in my professional career, because yes,
mm,
this has a huge impact. And also nowadays that we have very limited or no opportunities here uh, in the country.
mm,
Uh, Maybe this could help me to uh, to facilitate and my travel outside of the country,
mm,
because I see that if I see a brighter future, not in the Afghanistan but outside the country. So yes, this was the inspiration that I had uh, to study an MBA class, an MBA program, and I'm so happy. I learned a lot from all the professors. It was a very great experience, and using the new platforms and all these stuff, it was a great journey for me. And I'm always grateful for to you and to all the professors on the Windsor University.
you know, well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, and thank you for sharing that. That's a wonderful journey. So tell me a little bit more about what do you do now? What is your profession, Mansoor? What do you do?
Well, Professor, it's been from the first semester that I studied. I started in American University of Afghanistan. Back
Mhm.
in the previous government, we had a branch of American University here in Afghanistan. So I studied Bachelor of Business Administration there, and I was working since then. My profession is procurement and supply chain management. So I'm working since then, from 2013. And currently, I'm working in a international rescue committee organization in the procurement department. So yes, but I look forward to better opportunities,
Mhm.
maybe outside the country or even here. But yeah,
Mhm.
um, for me, I don't see uh, any opportunities that I like here because the environment and all the values that I have does not match. So that's why I want to leave. But the opportunity or the chances are very limited. That's why
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, great. So when you say you would like to travel beyond or to look for opportunities beyond Afghanistan, are you thinking Europe? You're thinking maybe uh, um, Australia, Canada, United States, um, where it could
Uh,
be. Mhm.
well, Professor, uh, for me, I think US is a better chance because we all know that we call US land of opportunities, and from all over the world, people are there and living. So I think that US is I would love to live in the US
Mhm.
because of the all the values they have and they welcome people from the corner and every corner of the world. So yes, for me,
Mhm.
the US is more welcoming.
Mhm. Very good. Yeah, I've lived in the U.S. my entire life, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I do hear a lot of students I've taught at other universities that had and I had students from all over the globe, just like here at Windsor, University of Florida. I had students they were all over. But I do understand that there's a sharp contrast between because the U.S. has thousands of universities. I mean, you can't even count them all. There's just so many. Of course, they have some that stand out. There's Harvard and of course Yale and Stanford University and um, Princeton. We have these have all of those that really stand out as the 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 best of the best, but they do have some really good universities here in the U.S. And I've always thought, as an educator, and my dad was a school teacher as well. I'll tell you a little bit about his story in a second. But one of the things that I've always been fascinated by is the fact that, and you may know this or not, but in the U.S., with the exception of just a few areas of the country, the U.S. for whatever reason falls behind in that in the pre-college, education for some reason, especially in the math and sciences. Um, but the universities tend to be some of the best in the world, and for me, it's just I don't understand how the two, realities can exist, but they do. I worked very closely with we call it K-12, kindergarten or pre-kindergarten to 12th grade. So we have elementary school, and then we have secondary and school, which is usually the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. uh, um, grades, and of course they call them middle schools or junior high school and high school. But in the U.S., for whatever reason, a lot of students tend to not actually be um, in this on the same academic level in math and sciences as a lot of students who are coming from uh, um, your region
That's
of the
right.
world, like in India, in Afghanistan, and Africa, and so in some of the Asian countries. So I've always been fascinated by that. Some of our best engineers actually come from outside of the U.S. So that's it's an interesting phenomenon, but it does exist, and I've seen it. As I was talking about earlier, working with those students at what they call the community college level. Um, and this is you'll notice that there's a different academic standard and with the universities and colleges in the U.S. And so when you hear someone say community college, usually the academic level is undergraduate. Okay, some community colleges are now offering bachelor's degrees, so they do go to that level. But most are it's a very the curriculum is not as stringent, you know, uh, as it will be at some of the other universities. But I know that working with some of those students, they have a lot of catching up to do. There's just a disconnect, you know, there, and so I've worked a lot with that sector, the lower grades before they get to college, and tried to make a difference there. I worked with my mentor was a gentleman by the name of Steve Sontag, and he tragically passed away at the end of 2020. But he was a school teacher for many years, and so he taught me a lot, you know, because my dad had passed away when I was just 15 years old. I think I shared that with you before. So a little bit about my dad's story, and then I think it'll help you understand why, you know, maybe why I pursue education. So my dad grew up in the south of the U.S. and Louisiana. He and my mom both, and, and they had different experiences. My mom's family, her dad, you know, was there. She always had two parents, although her biological mom passed away from cancer when my mom was 13 years old. But her dad remarried again. But she had the two parents and the dad who was always working. Her mom, her biological mom, was a substitute teacher, and then her stepmother was a school teacher. So my mom came from this you know, area where they had the two parents, and education was always, you know, something that was encouraged, if not enforced. And so she was always a part of that, and they had they never really wanted for anything. They lived in a way where they weren't concerned about where their next meal was going to come from. They had the income and a nice home to live in, and they had the running water and indoor bathroom facilities and things like that, you know. But my dad, on the other hand, completely different story. His mom was a single mom. He had one other sibling that he knew of, you know, for the first 30 years of his life. He didn't even know he had other siblings, but he had one older brother, and he was from another father. And they lived in a pretty dilapidated shack. And they didn't have any indoor running, you know, water, no indoor plumbing and or anything like that. And so, and they very much didn't know where their next meal was going to come from. He started working, delivering groceries, fishing, and things like that when he was quite young, maybe 5 or 6 years old. He was working and bringing in, you know, income for he and his mom, and his older brother did some other chores. And I think my dad began working in a hardware store when he was 11. We actually have, you know, some of that. My wife does genealogy, so she's done a lot of research on my family. That's been really nice. It's led to some book publications um, based on some things that my ancestors have done. But my dad, dad knew he didn't want that life, and he wanted something better for again his mom. So he enlisted in the military. He enlisted in the Air Force. Married my mom when my mom was 15 years old, and he was 19. And then they ended up in Idaho. So he was in the Air Force. He traveled all over. He traveled to Europe, during his time in the Air Force, and Japan, and other parts of the world. Um, but he knew he wanted to pursue education. So when he got back from the Air Force, me and my siblings, we were all born in Idaho on the Air Force Base. And then when Dad was done, he did 8 years there, and he went back to Louisiana and brought us all back to Louisiana. And after about a year, I think, in their hometown of Kentwood, then he enrolled in Southern University. And that was a huge deal for him to get into that university, because they didn't want to honor the fact that he had completed his high school requirements while in the Air Force. And Southern University is what they call a historically Black university in the U.S. So it was predominantly African American student body and faculty there. But they had a high standard, and they didn't want to compromise their standards, and so they didn't want to admit him. So he was very resourceful, and he decided to write a letter to the President of the United States, who at the time was President John F. Kennedy. And so the letter didn't get to him, but it got to Rose Kennedy, President Kennedy's mom, who eventually was able to make a difference. So it's this neat thing. We have this letter that was written by Rose Kennedy to my dad, and we treasure that. But he got into Southern University. He studied industrial arts and chemistry. Chemistry was his minor, and he earned his degree. It took him about 8 years to get a bachelor's, but he finished. And then we moved to California, where he taught math and industrial arts. So he taught, um, which is interesting now, because a lot of people are saying that the math and sciences, and of course, and then the skilled, jobs in the different skilled jobs are the ones that are in very high demand now. But he taught electronics and wood shop and metal shop, but he also loved teaching math, and that was where he really began to excel. When he passed away at age 42, the school district, they started a math scholarship in his name. So that was quite the honor for that. But during his time in college, we were living on the campus of Southern University. So I was exposed to a lot of professors and students and things like that. So it was always in our head. We were just, it became part of our family culture, was college, because we were around the university all of the time. And so we always thought, my siblings and I always believed that we were going to go to college. It was just, it was not something that we ever, questioned. It was just an expectation. And of course, we did. And after I got married, I only had my AA degree when I got married. And I know that I wanted to go back and pursue that bachelor's, and I tried, stopped and started and stopped for a lot of times. I think I have transcripts at more than a dozen universities and colleges from all the times that I had started and stopped, pursuing my education, but finally did get that bachelor's, and I just stayed in. After I got the bachelor's, I went right into the master's degree program, and I took 1 year off before I went to the PhD program. So I was essentially in school for 15 years straight, but I wanted to do that, and I wanted to make a difference. Like I said, I began working with the K-12, and now I'm in higher ed. So this is something that's near and dear to my heart. I want to make a difference. I talked about my mentor, Steve Sontag. He and I were able to write a book called A Family Linked to Education. And that was a wonderful experience to be able to do that. We completed another manuscript before he passed away. And I published that posthumously for him. And my daughter was also one of the authors on that second book. But that's, that's why I do what I do. I can see that there's a need out there. I appreciate you both sharing your stories. And so I can, you know, I've never lived outside of the U.S., but I think I can relate to some way that not having access to education can be really a tough challenge. And of course, like you said, the U.S. is actually a land of opportunity. It really is. It's just a matter of having people who can show you where to find those opportunities, and then having someone who can be your champion, someone who can work with you and help you. So I want to encourage both of you to, if you ever need anything, to reach out to me. You can always find me on LinkedIn. So one of the things that I very sadly wanted to mention to you today is that this is actually going to be my last semester with Windsor. Unfortunately, some things have happened in my career, and I'm going to be losing my main source of income, and so I have to make some career choices and some difficult changes. So you won't find me here at Windsor going forward, but you can always find me on LinkedIn. I'm always there. I try to be active there and in the community on LinkedIn. So
Sorry to hear, Professor. I thought that you will you will stay with Windsor, but yeah, thank you for sharing your story, and I'm sorry that you lost your father at a very early age. That's a 13-year-old, 15-year-old is a very early age, and sorry to hear that. But yeah, but I think life challenges us in its own way sometimes. And I lost my brother 10 years back. Like we are four siblings, and my brother who was on the like the second one, there is an older one, and then he was on the second. He he passed away about 10 years back in 2013, and now my nephew who was his son passed away this year in that's why like
oh yes,
you heard
oh yeah,
from me months back, and I was
oh
going
yeah.
through all this, and at the same time I needed to focus on the courses and my job and everything. I couldn't fly back to India because yes, America is the land of opportunities, and I totally agree on that, and that's why we came here. And maybe I never wanted to come, but I came because of my husband, and then I too started liking here because we have another family in Minnesota. His uncle lives there, so they were our inspiration to come here. And we settled here, all good, but we still struggle with the visas and travel visas. Like we don't have green card. We have green card EAD, which is the prior stage of green card, and I we still rely on those travel documents, that if it's not there we cannot travel. So my my green card EAD was in renewal, and I didn't have my travel document, so I couldn't travel. And then I told my family to do all the rituals themselves, and I will just watch on the video. So that's also a part, when many people consider before coming to America, they will be like leaving their entire family there, and they'll be like there would be chance that there will be scenarios where they cannot even travel and go back to the family in the difficult times. um, but yes, I understand if there is no opportunities in the own country, then definitely they should definitely, like in Mansoor's situation, they don't have opportunities there, so he definitely, it's a good decision of coming to America. But in my friend circle, because in India right now they have good opportunities, they don't want to come. So they want to do something there only, even though it's like little bit less earning than here. Some people don't want to come because of all these reasons, and
Mhm.
we become the example of those
Yeah.
that they notice that okay, they're not coming when there is a need, they're not able to come, and that makes, I think, their decision more concrete that oh, it would be difficult. But yes, we have our own journey, our own story, and what works best for us. I think we need to move forward with that. Um, and thank you for sharing your story. It's really, fascinating. When I started hearing all those challenges you faced in your life, I feel that, like in somehow we all have those challenges, and we have to overcome those challenges and then move forward towards success. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that those challenges build a character in us for sure. And sometimes with a lot of people, if they didn't have that adversity, they probably wouldn't have worked as hard as they did. Um, Probably it's true in my case. I know it's not true in all cases. So thank you so much for sharing that. I think that you probably shared some things that Mansour probably found very valuable to him in his quest. So yes. So going forward, I think that Windsor University. I thank you so much for sharing how it afforded you these great opportunities. I think that the university is going to really, you know, um, uh, like hearing that, and it's a good thing that we're recording this session because I think that's just excellent to know, and I think that's their dream and their mission to do that, to provide education to those who don't have access to it within their countries now. That's the beauty of the internet, right? It's just wonderful. So, excuse me. So, so as you go forward, and you're pursuing these future goals. I know Samia said you said you weren't sure if you were going to pursue the PhD yet, and really given that much thought yet. Um, Mansour, you beyond the MBA, what do you see as a possibility? I know that one of the things that I think would be a great opportunity for someone coming into the U.S. and just looking for that proverbial foot in the door is to teach at the university here. There's always uh, there is, and it's just in high demand right now. They need lots of professors and in the area that you're teaching procurement. I think that would, or that area that you're working in, I think that would be excellent if you were to go on to pursue, um, uh, even with your MBA, you can probably find some opportunities here. So you may want to even consider that. Consider um, opportunities in the U.S. to teach at the university level. As I said, some of our best engineers actually come from outside of the U.S. now, and the people in Silicon Valley and other tech sectors with all over the country, they know that that's it's just a fact. It's just true. So yeah, I would encourage you to look at that and look at the ways you might be able to move into there. Have you looked at what areas have you looked at? Have you looked at the tech sector? What seems to be the most uh, I don't want to say the most obvious um, opportunity for you right now? If you were to look for um, professional opportunities in the U.S., Mansour, where are you looking? Which sectors are you looking at? Are you looking at just in the business, international business? Are you looking within the tech companies and searching there? How are you? How is that uh, your search going? And
Sorry,
you muted.
Professor, I didn't hear you.
Okay,
Your
so is that
voice is
you?
very-
Sure, I'll repeat it. I was just curious, as you search for opportunities outside of your country in the U.S., what business sectors are you looking at? Are you looking at something that's manufacturing? Are you looking at the tech companies like Apple, Google, some of these? Where's your focus looking for these opportunities?
Well, Professor, I think for me, manufacturing would be a better option
Mhm.
because there's a lot of procurement involved in manufacturing
Mhm.
industry. So I have the procurement experience that could help me to stay in the manufacturing industry. So yes, I would go with the manufacturing option.
Okay, okay. Um, I think I mentioned before I worked for a long time in wireless telecom, and the company that I worked for most of those years was Verizon. In fact, I'm just finishing up my another contract with Verizon, but I was a full-time employee for them for a number of years, from '94 to 2017. And then before that, it was GTE before they became Verizon, and from '89 to '94. And so I've been in wireless telecom for a long time. I even consult there when I wasn't working full time. This current contract is full time and it ends in a couple of months. But the reason I'm bringing that up is that there's a lot of procurement that happens in that industry as well. In wireless telecom, and Verizon has a massive procurement um, division, so that might be somewhere to look. You look at Verizon or T-Mobile and some of those the different avenues. So I would highly encourage that. It's what drives that industry because we're always um, purchasing equipment and of course the supply chain deal, and so there we have so many different manufacturers and vendors that we work with. So even if it wasn't Verizon, any of their um, uh, vendors and affiliates, the manufacturers of equipment that we purchase might be a place to look. So I would uh, I would recommend that you look there if you haven't already. That's a great place to look for procurement opportunities in the U.S. So, and of course Verizon has a European,
Sure.
person. Okay.
Yes,
And
thanks.
Mansoor, sorry, coming from IT, I think when it comes to procurement opportunities, I think I don't know what you work as, but there is opportunities in Dynamics 365 or these tools, because if you know these tools, that's always helpful. All these organizations which are more focused towards procurement and supply chain management, they focus on these tools like Dynamics 365, FNO, and others. So if you learn those, I think that will be an added benefit in getting a job there.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yes,
excellent.
yes, of course. Thank you, Samia.
Sure, sure, Mansoor.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. All right. So, yeah. So for me, I definitely want to stay with higher ed, but I think that in order to land something that's more consistent and that would bring in a more um, uh, stable um, um, career, I think it would have to my main focus would have to be in the corporate on the corporate side. So um, I'm looking at some opportunities right now. Uh, some are startups. Those always kind of scare me because there's just high risk with those, and a lot of times there's no but there's no benefits with it. You're just you're working as a 1099, and or even if you're on a W-2, you don't really have all of the benefits that you might have with what they call a regular full-time job. So there's that, and then so a lot of things play into it too. A PhD could be a detriment as much as it can be um, a benefit to you. So a lot of times you apply for jobs and they find out you have a PhD. They're like, wait, you're overqualified for that. So and so it's just a real struggle to get there. But I've been just looking at different things. I'll continue to consult as well. Like I do instructional design, curriculum development. I do well, not rep, but I do some um, I do sponsor or rep some of the educational products. So that's a resell. I'm a reseller for some of those. I'll promote those on LinkedIn, and so do some of those things. But that doesn't really bring in a whole lot of money, also. So, but at this stage, I just want to for the next few years. I don't need to do it for very long. I'm just looking for a good 5 to 7 year opportunity to just work consistently, maybe as a chief learning officer for a company, some senior level or executive position where I'm overseeing training, and I can look at the training development, professional development, and things like that. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at. But I will continue to teach as well. But unfortunately, I couldn't make it all fit together. So yeah, I'm not able to stay with Windsor and do that. It's not an easy decision to make. It was very difficult, but I had to make that decision. My wife and I talked about it, prayed about it, and that's where we are. So again, Mansour, I just wanted to ask you. Um, uh, so are you ready with your capstone project? Um, you're gonna you're feeling confident about that? Is it almost ready to go? Ready to be submitted?
Yes, Professor. Yes, it's really just needs a little bit of work to.
Okay.
I just want to review and to see if I can bring improvement. I can submit it in a couple of days, Professor.
Okay, very good, very good. So one of the things that I did was because I just wanted that to be the focus, for this course. Obviously, all of the curriculum and the lessons were meant to get you to the point to where you uh, can create that thesis proposal, and of course, in your case, somebody to write the actual thesis. So I just went back through the assignments, and I just gave everybody 100% on the different assignments I get, because I didn't want that to distract you or to be something that you at the end, when you've done all that work on that final project, that that'll be graded and evaluated based on what you were able to accomplish with that capstone project. I didn't want those other assignments to deduct from your overall grade, and so as I just decided that I would just go through and I just graded everything, that even those earlier discussions and assignments, if you didn't do them, because I said I didn't want to focus on those anymore, I just went ahead and gave everybody 100% on those. Okay, so
Thank you,
that
Professor. Yeah,
you're
that is
welcome.
really great. Yeah, because it was becoming hard for me. Like in this semester, I'm actually in three courses. I ended up doing three, and but it's all great because I know I was like a little bit going behind because I did the PMP. So I was I was trying to not do project management because I did the PMP, but then but I think it was good that I ended up doing it, and it really benefited me, I would say, because it refreshed all my knowledge of, as I work mostly as a BA lead. Um,
Mhm.
I'm not always responsible for creating the project management documentation.
Mhm.
But then now, as I'm doing those documentation as a part of the course. It's like refreshing all that which I did in my course, and in few projects I did create a documentation. So it's helping me a lot in brushing up that. So I'm thankful to Professor Awaad. Hi, Professor. I shared the link and thank you for joining.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, good. Hi, Dr. Awaad, how are you doing this morning? There, you're muted. Oh, you're muted, Dr. Awaad. We can't hear you. Oh, maybe we just lost her. The connection is gone. Oops.
Yeah, she mentioned that she is in Egypt.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
She mentioned, yeah, she's
Uh,
in Egypt and she wanted to link. So I shared the link in the chat, and I think she joined, but something
okay.
there, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
do want to go Egypt. Like few days back, my husband was saying that he wants to go to
Oh,
Egypt. So probably sometime we want to go to Egypt and want to see
okay.
how it looks.
I
Yeah, he's
didn't even see
very
that in
fond
the
of.
chat. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. I didn't even notice that.
No, it comes as a pop-up because I have a desktop WhatsApp. So
Uh-huh.
since when I joined Windsor, and I was like
Oh,
going back and forth on the phone, and then my work. So I actually installed a desktop version of WhatsApp on my laptop. So anytime somebody's saying something, it pops up on my window.
oh, okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, because it's only on my phone, and I didn't want to stare at my phone while you were sharing your stories. And yeah, oh yeah, that's too bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, yes, you did. It's, oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, maybe she will, or she won't be able to join us.
Yeah, she's saying she's trying, but it seems that network is bad there.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna tell her that it is okay. We're not gonna stay on much longer.
So, Professor, have you ever been to Egypt?
I have not. I've only traveled to Canada, and then Canada is just like the U.S. Like
No, when we went to Niagara, I think we just looked at the Canada from US, and then there was
oh,
a boat. I know, there was a boat not from the Niagara, but from the Hundred Islands. There is a boat which actually takes you to Canada without visa. I mean, you can't get down, but you can still see how Canada looks. So it's like it just look like US for sure. Egypt, or otherwise it's like they have like so many pyramids, and it's like my husband is very fond of those pyramids. So
oh
we
yeah.
we will end up going traveling sometime there for sure.
It's interesting that you were asking me that because when I was a young man, that was always a dream of mine was to go to Egypt.
Mm.
I've always been fascinated by the ancient you know uh, uh, Egyptian
Mhm.
cultures and the historical artifacts. It just fascinated me. I was always into it. I had all these books that I
Right.
would buy, and every time National Geographic had anything on King Tutankhamun, I had to have that copy to read, and that was my dream, was to always travel to Egypt, and
Mm.
that was so just one of those things that that I never did do. I find it almost doubtful that I might ever do that. My kids travel a lot. Uh, there's one that's in Taiwan now with her,
Oh,
and she travels there a lot for her work. Our youngest, her major was international business with a focus in Italian business. So she's been to Italy a few times. She's actually traveled to India with
mm.
my eldest daughter. Has
Nice.
traveled there. The both of them traveled to India together. They've been to
Did they like
Europe.
anything from them, like the feedback of the country?
They loved it there. Absolutely loved it there. They sent us a lot of images um, of the country. They just, they had a wonderful time there. I could see that they would both
Yeah.
probably go back again.
Yeah, no,
They,
definitely. Like they're getting better with the tourism and all, and Modi being our president, he's definitely prime minister. Sorry, but he acts as a like in India, prime minister is actually more powerful than president.
oh wow,
So yeah, it is the fact. So he's very proactive. Even at his 70s, he's very proactive, and he's doing things like out of the way sometimes to be for tourists, and so he's doing great. Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. So, yeah, no, they I think let's see, I think out of my five children, only two I think have not traveled outside of the U.S. They travel all over the U.S. Hawaii and New York and
There's a
different
lot
things.
within US also. There is a lot to travel. Like we never went to Yellowstone. My husband wanted to go there as well.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
we never have been there. I mean, there is so many places, not just Yellowstone.
Mhm.
Like so many places within US also.
Yeah, yeah. I was very fortunate. Yeah, we've been to travel to Yellowstone, and it's gorgeous. Lived in California, like I said, for many years, and Yosemite, and then the redwood forest and things like that. But I've never been to the Grand Canyon, and I've never
Grand
seen,
Canyon. Oh, my
and I've
husband
never
just went
never
like few months
seen
back. He said, "Okay,
Niagara
then
Falls.
I need to go." And then he wanted to take kids also, but then because of their school and things, so he just went alone. And then he was like really roaming around in Grand Canyon. It's great. I mean, the colors those mountains have is great. I mean, once I want to go there as well.
But you said you've gone to Niagara Falls. I've never been there.
Oh,
But
Niagara Falls. I think I went twice, not just
oh,
once, twice. Once with like when my son was very young, and then
uh-huh.
other time like when my parents were here. That time we went. It's really beautiful. Like when you look at it from this side, you just see the half of it. So when the boats they take you inside, and from there you look at it. Oh my God, nothing like that. I just feel that it's the biggest, maybe not true, but when you look at it from the board, it just looks like it's the biggest waterfall in the world. Like no end to it. It seems like beautiful. You must go there, Professor, once.
I do want to go there. I love the natural, settings like that and scenery. So here in Utah, there's a lot of beautiful national parks too. I need to go to.
Mhm.
We've been here since May of 2018, and of course COVID, hit and stuff like that in
Mhm.
2020. But I haven't been to Zion National Park yet. There's another. I've since we moved here, I haven't even been to the oh gosh, what do they call it? It's an area where they do a lot of movies. Um, Robert Redford Sundance.
Mhm.
I've been there since I moved here. You know, Park City, where a lot of celebrities have homes because they like to ski. And
Right.
so it's like it's like winter Hollywood, you
Right.
know, and here in Utah, Park City. So I've gone fishing there. I love to fish. My son and I will do fly fishing and things like that. So I've done that. But and we're going to try ice fishing for the first time um, this next year, you know, in January, February, because hopefully everything will freeze over. Actually, it's been unusually warm this
Mm.
year so far. But once everything freezes over, then we're going to try ice
It's
fishing.
freezing
So,
here in Long Island. Like it's
mhm.
like really freezing. Like temperature is going up to like 23 degrees Fahrenheit now. So
Oh,
so in the
that's
mornings, it's really, really cold. Sometimes in
oh,
afternoon getting better, but
mm,
mornings and nights are very cold now.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It'll get there. We don't get as cold as it does there. Yeah, that's much colder than Utah. Utah,
Mm.
it gets cold, but not as cold as the east and
Right.
the Midwest gets much colder.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Wisconsin and areas like that, Chicago and
Right.
uh, Michigan are much colder than the U.S. And they're much more humid too. Um, yeah, Utah's a desert,
Right.
very much so. But anyway, I don't want to hold you here. It's been a pleasure to work with you. You know, a lot of my, with the exception of when I was doing my master's degree, I was required to give some live face-to-face, you know,
Mm.
lectures. It was traditional university in person, university setting when I did my bachelor's and my master's degree program. And for that master's, I had to do some lectures for creative writing because my master's was in English. And so with the exception of that, as far as teaching in higher ed, my experience until now with Windsor was all asynchronous. It was where I would communicate with the students. Every once in a while, I had like we had one or two live lectures, you know, online live lectures online with Community Christian College. It was a requirement, you know, but not where it was every week here. So this has been a great um, experience for me. Like I said, I've only been teaching in higher ed since 2020. So I'm still very new to this profession. So this has been a great experience for me. You guys have been the perfect students for that. It's been really good. I wish you both great success. Of course, I will see you, Samia, next week for
For
your
sure.
defense. And
For
Mansoor, I look forward to seeing your capstone project. And we'll get those reviewed and get those graded. And I wish you great success on your thesis. I assume that you will be working with Dr. Awaad during that, and we are going to be hiring another professor to teach that course next semester. So for those who are coming into the program and have to take the actual course again, so I'll be helping Windsor with that. So, but anyway, Merry Christmas to you, as you know what we say here in the U.S. And have a happy New Year. And I wish you great success for you and your families. Okay.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much. You too have happy holidays, and yeah, I look forward to the 30th the defense meeting. And I think you already scheduled it, but I'll just go back and look at my calendar at what time is scheduled. And thank you so much. And I wouldn't say you were holding us up. It was a nice conversation, a nice discussion. I think thank you for sharing your story, and Mansoor, you too your story. And I really look forward to speaking with you on the defense. And then I think I'm also like maybe I just left two more courses to finish because of that 36 points. Because I was switched from 48 to 36, and it was like I needed to still complete one or two core courses. So I'm just hoping to finish as soon as possible in 2024 so that I'm
Yeah.
free before the summer. I'm free with the courses. So, But it's been a great learning experience and journey with you, Professor. Thank you so much.
All right, you're very welcome. Thank you for those kind words.
Thank you so much, Professor. And hopefully we will be in contact. And I wish you great success in new endeavor. And Merry Christmas to you. Have a good
Oh,
holiday.
thank you very much. Happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a
You're
great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.